am Jay Oliver, and you're now watching RapAboutTV.
Welcome back to RapAboutTV. It's your host, Ab Judah. We're rolling on with episode 5. We got somebody right here on location that I consider to be a future tastemaker in music. He's a young, talented artist and producer, Jay Oliver. We appreciate your time, my brother. All right, let's go back from the beginning. What started your path in music? Like, why you pick music?
Well, I started music when I was 16. Me and my brother, he was just a fan of music, and we just started producing.
Okay.
So we picked up something free, Fruit Loops, and we just was rocking out on Fruit Loops. And as a kid, we used to love getting Scratch magazine, and Scratch magazine is no more, but basically in Scratch magazine they would have the up and coming producers, the top producers, what they use, the equipment, new equipment. It was just an honor to get Scratch, you know what I mean? And they would put the best producers on the front of the cover, so we always wanted to be in Scratch, and they discontinued Scratch, but I just been working since I was 16. It's been a journey.
Okay, so for those who don't know, I know this guy for about 5-6 years now. He's been doing this thing since I known him. He's come a long way, and I'm proud to say, he's putting the hard work and the effort to get where he is. What made you turn? When did you know you turned that corner from being just a dude making beats in his basement to somebody that was, making a name for himself?
I think the turning point was when I want to say when I went to the turning point from when I knew that it was really happening is when I started flying everywhere to work with King Los. And I think the real big turning point to where I really got on my grind was when I was at Puff House. Okay. So when I went to Puff House, that was an experience, and when Puff started screaming at me and stuff, I was like, all right, this is real, you know what I mean? I was motivated to want to be better than everybody.
So what the relationship with Los, how did that develop? Y'all both from Baltimore?
Yeah, it's crazy because I knew who Los was way before Los knew who I was, because Los was been doing it for a minute. I actually met Los. If you remember, when I performed at the Morgan Pep Rally?
Yeah, I remember that.
I performed at the Morgan Pep Rally, and after the Pep Rally, Los came up to me and he said, young boy, you did your thing. He was like, and you produced all of those tracks? I said, yeah. He was like, yeah, I did some beats, let's link. And that's how that happened. And that was about, I think, my sophomore, junior year at Morgan. And then once we linked up, we just kept close. He was coming by the dorm, I was making beats, and it just took off from there. We just had that relationship. I was never a person that you couldn't talk to and build with. Los had a lot of constructive criticism, and I would never argue with him. I would never be like, well, no, I want to do it this way. I would just listen. And he liked that, and we just built. And he kept his word. And just been together ever since.
Okay, so how did that artist thing? Did that come in after the producing, or did that something you did first?
I was always an artist.
Okay.
I used to sing on the church choir, and I was just always doing the artistry thing. But I think when I turned 17, 18, the artist thing wasn't my strong point. And
what's your focus?
And they say when you want to be successful in something, you have to be dominant in something. You know what I mean? So when you do something, you have to be the best in whatever you're doing. So I felt I was better at producing tracks. Okay. So that's when I started composing and getting better at my craft. And then I left the artist thing alone. But once I felt I was there on that producer side of things, I was like, okay, well now I can switch back over to be an artist because it's not gonna take me nothing to make a beat because I'm kind of mastering that. You know what I mean? So once you're dominant in one field, then you can jump in another. A lot of people try to take on different tasks. So when you meet people nowadays, they be like, yo, I'm a producer. Yeah, I'm a writer, I'm an artist, I film my own videos, I do this, that, and third, and that's not really something, it's not, it's something, they brag about it, but a real person to know, you ain't dominant in all of these, you know what I mean?
It's not possible. You put the time in to do that.
Yeah, definitely.
Okay. So, bring it forward. What beat or beats or artists have you worked with recently that stand out to you? Or beats that you hold some type of special regard with?
I work with I just recently did a track on Dream Chasers 3 with Meek Mill.
That was a crazy record.
I did Ain't Me, featuring Yo Gotti and O'Malley. Before that, I did a track on Kurt Cobain's mixtape, The Progression 3, called Always. I got 2 tracks that's coming out on Trader Truth's new mixtape, one on his album. I did a track on French Montana's album. That was a major placement. Right now I'm working on Fly's new album with Young Bird. I worked with Trina. I did multiple tracks on Becoming King for Los. I did the intro track, of course, which is like one of the best intros of all time. I did a track for Los and T-Pain, but you know, it may come out, it may not come out, depending on, you know, what Puff for us to do. And I got a call 2 days ago, which is crazy. Like, I just thank God to work on Lecrae's album. And you know, some people don't. A lot of people don't know who Lecrae is, but Lecrae won a Grammy in 2012, and they're talking about that he could win another one in 2015. So to even hear that is just motivation to really get on this album. So I called my homeboy T. Coles, who wrote "Turn Up the Music" for Chris Brown, and I told him, I was like, yo, we got to get on this project, you know. So we all working on that with me, T. Coles, Billy down in Houston. So we're gonna be working. They stopped Lecrae's tour in Africa to work on this album to get it done. So, you know, I'm looking forward to winning a Grammy in 2015. You know what I mean? Something nobody in my city has ever done. And then, of course, I work with Mass Pike Miles. You know, I got a track with King Los and Wale. So, you know, I'm just working. And, of course, myself, my own project that I'm working on. So, you know, I try to juggle everything.
It's hard, isn't it?
Yeah, because then you got local artists that hit you, and sometimes they waste your time, and it's like you want to give them a chance, but they really just waste your time. So it's like, yo, don't waste my time, you know what I mean?
Right.
So,
okay. Jumping back, the song that I knew you for was Downtown. That was a big record for you. You still pushing it to this day, and, we had to talk about this. Like, a lot of artists don't understand. Once you get a record, you don't just push it for a month and then let it die. You keep pushing it because if somebody's gonna hear it. Music don't stop. So explain how you know what I'm saying, your thought process behind that.
Downtown is crazy, yo, because I recorded Downtown in 2008 in my dorm room in Marble Hall, and I wrote it alongside my best friend Rob Rockstar. He also wrote it too. He wrote the verses and I wrote the hook on the song, and I produced the song, and I recorded it on a program that my homeboy Prince had on his computer. And when we put it out, like people heard it on MySpace and they was like, you know, this is dope, and it got a lot of love. But it really got love when these 2 boys from Memphis took it and they danced to it, and it went viral. So when they danced to it, you know, girls like that grinding and stuff, so they looking at it and they like, yo, like, we like this song, like, who's the artist? And they see who the artist was, yo, and it just blew up from there. Got like over 1 million views. Went viral. Like, everybody was dancing to it, like it was crazy. But I was so young, business minded, that I didn't capitalize off of it like how I could have capitalized off of it. So it was one of those songs that really could have took me to the next level, but it really just got me internet fame because I wasn't business smart. And that's one thing, you got to be business smart.
So with you being somebody that's from Baltimore, somebody that's proud, what you bring with you from Baltimore that you just, you know, that influences your music or, you know, your style or whatever?
Struggle. Like, one thing about Baltimore is it's just not a pretty place. Like, it's definitely a struggle, and that's one thing that I take from it. You know, it forces me to work harder because, you know, I just want to do things that nobody's done. And honestly, I never thought that it would get to this point. You know, like, I used to be, as a kid, used to dream about it, but like I said, like, it's starting to hit me now, like, yo, you could be, no, you're not, you are going to be the best producer this city's ever seen. You might mess around and be the best artist this city's ever seen. You know what I mean? And it's like, never did I ever dream, and it just makes me want to go harder. And, you know, my family and my friends are still in Baltimore, and they really haven't got to experience what I experienced, and what I've experienced is crazy. It's like retarded. So, and I want them to see that. So that's another reason why I work hard. And like I said, I didn't see this possible until, like, I signed with Never Satisfied, and like, my mentor just been talking to me about it, and I've had a lot of great people coaching me, like a lot of legends. I'm like, it was unreal, but now, like I said, I'm starting to get used to everything. So now it's like, it's not even, it's just like it's supposed to happen type of thing, you know. So Baltimore, that's how Baltimore influences me.
Okay, so speaking of Never Satisfied, where did that start?
Basically, Never Satisfied happened when I was I was in Miami.
Okay.
I was in a deal before It didn't work out with the people that I was with, so I had got out of that deal, but I still had much love for the people I was in the deal with. Like I never burned bridges, I still look up to the people I was with. But when I got out of that deal, I met a guy named Radio in Miami, and Radio basically he came through. I was staying at McKinney's house, which is a football player. I was staying at his house in Miami, and Radio came through, which is and we just chopped it up. He told me, what he wanted to do, and I told him what I wanted to do, and he listened to, the music that I had, and he wanted to get a feel from me, so he took me out, we went to the club, we kicked it, and he was like, Lo, this is what you're going to do. He was like, when you fly to Baltimore, he was like, I'm going to fly you to Dallas, and we're going to talk some more, I'm going to show you around, and introduce you to some people, and that's when we started formulating what we were going to do as Never Satisfied. Wow, another reason why I mess with him, and this may sound racist, but it's really not. There's really some truths. He's black and he's Asian. Asians are some of the smartest people on this planet. Like, I've seen it throughout high school, I've seen it throughout college. Like, Asians are smart. They plan, they think before they do stuff, they don't just react. So by that, I was like, okay, well, I can work with this guy because not only is he, in these black markets, but he's also politicking with the white markets and all other different races. Like everybody gravitates toward this guy. So that was another thing that influenced me to really, sign with Never Satisfied. And it's independent, so we're doing everything on our own, you know what I mean? So when a label sees that, they like, oh, well, we need them. I had a meeting with Warner Chapel and they said, and he was basically like, what can we do for you? Like when we presented everything on the table, showed them the videos, the music, and he's like, well, what do you want us to do for you? Right. Like, we can't really offer you, what you want right now, you know what I'm saying? But they can, but we just have to build it bigger. And that's what we've been doing. We've been growing, so, it's Never Satisfied all day.
So, back when you was doing your thing in school, right? In my mind, I said, okay, this dude's going places. So a lot of people would have stopped. But you took the time, you finished, you graduated on time. What was the motivation behind that? Some people would have seen the money, they were like, it's right here. It's right here.
Well, I really didn't, I was touching people, but I wasn't really touching people until I left. So while I was here, it was like I was meeting with people, but when I graduated, I worked for, I graduated in 2010. I worked, and in 2011, I was still in the deal. The deal wasn't a good deal, but I was still in the deal. I was still working. I got a call from an artist in LA named T Mills, and he had heard these 2 records that I wrote. He was a big artist too, like on Columbia, he still is, and that's my brother from another. And he said, yo, Jay, these records are incredible. Who you signed with? And I told him. And he said, well, what type of deal is it? And I was like, a producer deal, because that's what I thought it was. He said, well, look, we're going to fly you to LA, quit your job, and we're going to sign you as a writer for, Young Favorites. So with that being said, I told him, I said, yo, I'm not quitting my job to come out there if this isn't real. You know what I mean? Like, I got like $50 in my bank account. Like, he was like, yo, you good. Just come out here. We got you. I got a condo out here. We're going to take care of you. I was like, yo, I'm not quitting my job to fly out there if y'all BSing. Like, yo, trust me, we're going to get you your plane ticket and then you can quit your job. So I wake up the next morning, he sent me my itinerary. I called my boss. I said, I'm not coming into work. He said, what's wrong? I said, I'm done. He's like, you quitting? I said, yes. Holler at you guys. Deuces. I flew to LA with no money, and once I was out there, like that's when everything started happening.
Right, snowball effect.
Like it was like it's like snowball effect. Everything started happening. So like I say, 2011, the month of November is when everything just basically started going from there. It was a struggle, but that's when it all happened. If I never would have left, none of this would have happened.
Because we used to talk on Twitter and stuff. You used to be in Miami a lot. What was in Miami?
All right. So what happened was, when I was in LA, I couldn't sign that deal because I was in this other deal. So I feel like the artist that I was dealing with, I felt like his manager didn't want to put up with getting me out of this contract because it was a struggle to get out of the contract because I was working. It was a mess. So they flew me back to Baltimore, and they was like, well, when we work on a project, we'll fly you back out. But I know what that means. It's not. It's one of those, yeah, we're not going to deal with you anymore type of thing. And me being the person that I am, I don't never stop. Like, I always look for outlets and ways to keep moving.
Right.
So I hit up a DJ in Baltimore. His name was In Fame, and I told him, I'm like, yo, I did my research and I found Brian McKinney, and I told him, I was like, yo, I was like, put me in contact with Brian McKinney. He put me in contact with Brian McKinney. I started singing Brian records because he had an artist. Brian liked the records and he liked dealing with me. So I asked him one night. I was in the house and I was like, well, what can I do? I can't stay in Baltimore. It was the summertime, and I hit Brian up and I was like, yo, if I buy my own plane ticket and I come down to Miami, can I stay with you and can I like network and you can introduce me to people, you know, that type of thing. And Brian was like, cool. So without hesitation, I bought my plane ticket, sold some beats, bought my plane ticket, and I flew to Miami. And when I was down in Miami, the first party I went to with Brian, it was with me, him, Tiana Taylor, A$AP Rocky came in, Drake was there, Birdman was there, and that was the first party I went to with him. So I was like, oh, this is gonna be crazy.
So how do people like from back home treat you? You still Jeff, or you know?
People from back home, they treat me like, you know, they don't really show as much love as you would think. I get more love in other cities than I do in Baltimore. Crazy. I still rep Baltimore. I love Baltimore, but it's that town that where as though they don't really want to see you succeed. You know, I don't understand. Like, I went to perform in Morgan and I'm on stage and I'm telling them, like, you know, I produced this song for French Montana. They just look at me like this. I'm like, yeah, I just produced a song for Meek Mill. They look at me like this. And I'm just like, yo, like, have y'all been to Puff House? How many people in here been to Puff House? None of y'all. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, you know how hard it took me to get to this point, and y'all just, like, I'm opening the door for mad. When I go into these offices, they're like, where you from? Baltimore. Who's hot in Baltimore? Well, I don't even want to say no names because they don't even support me. So why am I say who hot in Baltimore? You know what I mean? So it's like shedding a light on a city that doesn't get no love. Like, when I get that Grammy, they going, yeah, it's gonna be crazy. I'm gonna make sure I have a parade when I come back home.
Can't leave on a better note than that, man. We appreciate you coming through,
Most
man.
Definitely.
I hope to see you around soon, man. Keep doing your thing, bro.
Appreciate it.
Rap About TV, man. Signing out. J. Oliver, Ab Judah. So we just finished up another episode of Rap About TV with producer, artist here, J. Oliver. Let them know if you got anything in the works, man. Where they can find you at.
You can follow me at IamJOliver, IamJAYOLIVER on Instagram and Twitter. You can definitely check out my new video, Only One. It's on Vivo. Not too many local artists you know have Vivo accounts, so definitely go check that out.
Can't call yourself local anymore, man.
Yeah, I know. The sand's just, like I said, I'm just getting out of this, baby. It's just crazy. You know, we on the way.
Appreciate it, man. Thank you, man.
Real, I never love, no, don't stress her mind, just bless her, make her feel how she feel. She wake up in the morning and cook a nigga a meal, so I